If you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video, and you could get 10 million subscribers no matter where you are right now.
MrBeast is without a doubt the greatest YouTube genius to ever live.
Subscribers don't matter, views don't matter. I mean, they do, but all that comes, everything you want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible.
So after hearing this, I watched every interview MrBeast has ever done to find the most valuable, the most impactful, and the most important information for anyone wanting to make it on YouTube. Even finding secret voice messages from MrBeast himself that I guarantee you have never heard before. Trust me, you want to watch this video.
The thing is, it's all knowledge. It really is. And like, every time I say this, people debate it to the end of time on Twitter, but I don't care. Like, I could start a new channel tomorrow with not using my face or my voice, like without ever promoting it, and in 6 months have 20 million subscribers. I just could. Like,
there's sometimes where I have theories that you are doing that and it's going to happen, and you're not going to tell
I live
anyone.
through people vicariously all the time and help people just get a couple million subscribers here and there. It's purely knowledge. Like, if you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video, and you could get 10 million subscribers no matter where you are right now within 6 months. It really is just knowledge. And I can already tell you 90% of the people watching, they don't agree with that. They don't. And everyone has excuses, and they're always like, nah, YouTube just doesn't work like that, Jimmy. You don't understand. But I mentor a lot of people. I see it even to this day. I still see it all the time. It is possible. It is simply knowledge. And the second you accept that it is knowledge and you start your, for me, 10,000 day journey of learning, for you, whatever it is, if you want to be less hardcore, and like actually figuring out, you know, what makes a good video, what does my audience want, how can I elevate, and then you take that knowledge and you just assume that I will never understand what the perfect video is, and every single day I just need to be devoted to learning as much as possible and improving as much as possible, and I got to improve every video as much as I can. Then there you go, you know.
And if you thought that was useful, just wait until you hear this next interview.
This is a storyboard visual from a video you have coming up. Just take me through, when did you first see this visual? How do you guys put this together before you decide to approve an idea?
We said the same thing last year at VidSummit. Obviously, if someone doesn't click your video, they're not going to watch it. So it seems silly to, for us, invest months and millions of dollars filming a video if we don't even know what the thumbnail and title is going to be. So the fundamentals for us is, we have a full-time sketch artist. It's like, before I even put an idea on the calendar, we sketch out what the thumbnail will be like. Usually we'll sketch out a couple versions and figure out what the title is. So whenever this video goes up, maybe in like a month or two, some rough version of this will be what the final thumbnail is. So it just like, because you have an image in your head, and sometimes when you make it a real thumbnail, it just doesn't look good at all. And then, if you do that after you make the video, it's brutal because you just wasted all that time and money for a 10 out of 10. So this helps make sure what I'm envisioning isn't just dumb,
Totally. Can you talk about the importance of showing it in the YouTube UI, specifically on mobile?
Yeah, I didn't even see that part. And then, like always, which this is actually less important for us because almost half our US viewership is on television now, so it's not as big mobile as it used to be. But obviously, you want to see your thumbnail smaller because a lot of us have a bad habit of looking at it on a computer screen, and then when it's smaller on a phone, things you thought were visible aren't as visible. Like, hypothetically, items in the shelf further back, on a phone wouldn't be visible, whereas on a TV where the thumbnail's a little bit bigger, it is. So it's good to just basically look at it in every format and make sure it's clickable no matter where it is.
So I think not everybody has illustrators or storyboard artists. I was talking to your team. You have 12 people on your thumbnail.
We used to draw it with like stick figures, you know what I mean, just to make sure the framing's good.
And now we know about thumbnails, how do we actually start a channel?
If you were to start over again, you had no money, what would be the first 10 videos you tried to make on a new channel? I guess that's advice for a new person. And nobody knows you.
Yeah, nobody knows me. Yeah, like hypothetically I have a mask on.
And you also, I guess, don't have the wisdom.
Well, if I don't have what I have in my head, then I would say just fail. Like, just a lot of people get analysis paralysis, and they'll just sit there and they'll plan their first video for 3 months. And I'm any of you listening, if you, especially if you have 0 videos on your channel, your first video is not going to get views. Period. It's not. Your first 10 are not going to get views. I can very confidently say that. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end, and just get to work and start uploading. Like, all you need to do, this applies to people who have not uploaded videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking, like maybe you can get some views, but your first 100 are gonna stop. There are very freak cases like Liza Koshy or Emma Chamberlain who have really good personalities, and it doesn't take them as many videos. And it's just like people who are 7'5" and making the NBA. Like, yes, there are freak cases you can find, but for the average person like us, who don't have these exceptional personalities and, backgrounds in filmmaking, just make 100 videos, improve something each time, and then talk to me on your 101st video.
And now we know that, how does MrBeast come up with his ideas?
I thought it was so interesting how you've studied outliers, and I want to talk about that video, the dollar versus series, and talk about the inspiration, because I don't think people realize how you came to that, and then I got a ton of follow-ups with that.
Yeah, 100%. So for the $1 versus, the thing is, we've all seen BuzzFeed did it, but also not only did BuzzFeed, but it's just like people across every format on YouTube, beauty channels, gaming channels, everyone was doing videos where they'd compare something cheap to something expensive. And they usually did well. And what I like to do is if I see something going viral across like multiple, formats all across YouTube, then it's like, okay, that seems to be something people really like. And, they're really interested in that content. So maybe I should just do that like in a really beast way on the channel. So like if a beauty channel does $1 versus $100 makeup palette and that pops off, and then someone does $1 versus $100 sushi and that pops off, and a video gamer does $1 or $100 computer versus a $10,000 computer, then it's like, okay, people seem to like this. I'm gonna do a $1 hotel versus a $1 million hotel, and it works. Yeah.
I saw that outlier from BuzzFeed's channel was a plus 50x.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see like was a crazy outperformance.
It's essentially when I tried to think of like how, because ViewSet's probably built it where we can help small creators just do better. When I try to think of like one of the most, can't think of another word than OP. It means overpowered if you're not a gamer. Sometimes I say that and people like look at me weird. Tools is like to help you brainstorm ideas, because I think that's one of our bread and butters. And one of the best ways to brainstorm tools, I thought, would be to give you access to outliers, which is like you said, it's essentially like if videos do, it basically shows you every video on YouTube that performs multiples better than the average on that channel. So like if a person's getting 1 million views a video and then they upload a video and it gets 5 million views, why did that video do 5 times better? And like we just give you a collection of videos like that performed really well, so you can brainstorm based off of it. So, hopefully you can also have outliers.
But that isn't actually the only way that MrBeast comes up with his ideas.
Take a normal thing, make it an interesting viral idea, but with a budget of $1,000. Because it's easy to say, MrBeast would just put $1 million on the line.
10
okay,
grand.
10 grand.
Okay.
And you said you used to use random word generators.
I did all the time.
So we gave you a random word generator. If you hit
generate random words,
you can flip through a few until you find a word you want.
Find an actual thing. Like
all right, so to give a little context to your viewers, the thing is like, you could spend 7 days, this is something I've said on other podcasts, I think this drives it home. I spent 7 days buried alive, right? That got hundreds of millions of views, me laying in a coffin. It's like, holy shit. Put a coffin 10 feet underground, cover with 20,000 pounds of dirt. I'm literally in a coffin for a week. That's cool, that's viral. That was 7 days of me laying down. I theoretically could have, instead of doing that, laid in just a bathtub for 7 days. No one would have gave a fuck. Like that video wouldn't have, but in theory, it's the same amount of time, at least from a filming perspective. Logistically, maybe not. But in theory, both are me just laying down for 7 days. But one is super fucking viral, the other no one cares about. And so that's like the power of ideas. Like an idea, with the right idea, you can do the exact same amount of work as a different idea, but get 50x the return. So that's why I'm so adamant about generating good ideas. All right, so I just hit random, create random words. Chocolate.
Well, I mean, that one's easy. Chocolate's easy.
Well, they're gonna think this is
No, keep going.
It said chocolate. This is a random word generator. No, bro, they're gonna think this whole thing's staged.
Not chocolate.
Grandmother. All right, so they gave us the word grandmother. So what's a viral idea with a grandmother that could be done for $10,000? I mean, bro, if you actually want like a mega banger, I would do completing a 100-year-old's bucket list.
Oh, so you meet a grandma.
Yeah, I'd find a grandma. I mean, if you really wanted to, I wouldn't say I would do this, but if you wanted like a viral video, I'd find a grandmother who's like terminally ill, and I'd take her and her grandkids and do everything on their bucket list for them. Like, bro,
that's a cool idea.
Like, don't do this title, but she will die in 30 days. So I fulfilled all her wishes.
And now you can see how MrBeast comes up with ideas. How does he decide how to edit his videos?
What's really interesting is the opening of Beast Games has no cuts. The first 12 seconds of Beast Games is just you.
I am standing on $5 million.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it doesn't like whoosh into the 5 million.
Yeah.
In entertainment history.
That's such a good shot. Fuck yeah.
$5 million are these
He's 1,000 contestants.
But I actually think that's more symbolic than people might realize. That is just a shot of you for 12 seconds. You guys never do that.
Not on an intro.
You would never hold on an intro for 12 seconds.
No, and it's just like because on YouTube you have to. It's just different, man. It's different expectations. It's different. It's like YouTube, you just gotta reassure them the title and thumbnail is like a big problem with my YouTube videos is people just don't think they're real. And so like I have to like show so much at the start and I have to like, I have like this 10-second window to convince someone. I did this. I swear to God, I did it. I swear, I promise. Here's proof. I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like in the twins video, 100 twins compete for 250K. It's like, here's 100 twins. Look, here's a close up. They're twins. There's 250K. That's real money. I'm giving it to them. All right, but now it's like, okay, there's twins and money, but are they just gonna stand here? Now, all right, there's cubes. Look, there's this big set. This is a good video. And like on YouTube at the start, you almost have to like beg, you're like, look, I promise what I put in the title thumbnail is real, especially for us because what we do is so big. And you have to convince them of all of it and then give permission to slow down. Whereas on with these shows, like, I mean, most competition shows are like, a fraction as big as this. And so it's like, and people still sit down and watch. Like people like will give you at least a couple minutes on a show before they give up on it. It's not like 10 seconds out.
But how did MrBeast become successful in the first place?
Most of my growth came actually after I graduated high school. Basically what I did was I somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. 3 of us were college dropouts. One was a high school dropout. And one, I don't know, he just like quit his job. We were all super small YouTubers. And we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study, like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral. And we would just call it like daily masterminds. We would just get on Skype every morning. And like some days, like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. And then I'd go to bed, I'd wake up and I'd do it again. And we'd do things like just take 1,000 thumbnails and see if like there's a correlation to the brightness of the thumbnail to how many views it got, or like like videos that get over 10 million views is like how often do they cut the camera angles, or like things like that.
Really? So you micro-analyzed
everything.
Really?
Yeah, just I mean for like we were very religious about it, and so that's where most of my knowledge came from. Is I just surround myself with these lunatics, and just every day like we didn't do anything. We had no life.
But everybody had sort of a similar vision.
Yeah, exactly. So we all had like 10, 20,000 subscribers when we met. And by the time we stopped talking, we all had millions of subscribers. And we all hit 1 million subscribers like within a month. It's crazy because it's like if you envision a world where you're trying to be great at something and it's just like you learning and fucking up and then learning from your mistakes. Also, my mom told me not to curse. Sorry, Mom. If someone could just like edit out the swear words and give it to me.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, so I could give it to my mom to listen to. That would be great. But like, you mess up, you learn from your mistake, you mess up, you learn from your mistake. You in 2 years, might have learned from 20 mistakes. Or if you have like 4 other people who are also messing up, and when they learn from the mistake, they teach you what they learned. Stuff like that. Hypothetically, you 2 years down the road have learned like 5 times more of the amount of stuff. So it just like helps you grow exponentially way quicker.
But what do you actually need to focus on to get good at YouTube?
What do you think gets us to 1 million subscribers?
Well, subscribers is an arbitrary number.
Okay, so a million views of video.
No, you should ask me what helps us make the best videos possible. That's the only question you should ask me. Subscribers don't matter. Views don't matter. I mean, they do, but all that comes. Everything you want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible and thumbnails. But it's easier to make thumbnails. The video part's the hard part, and that's the thing that you're known for. No one's known for no one's like the biggest YouTuber in the world because they have the best thumbnails, right? It's also because they have great, phenomenal content. You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part that very few people do well, and that's what people remember. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna have some random dude when you're walking down the street of Paris go like, yo, that's the guy with the great thumbnails. They're gonna be like, no, that's the guy with the phenomenal videos that whatever, held his breath for 40 minutes underwater or things like that. So that's a tip for you guys, but also you guys watching. Ask, how can I make my videos better? Do that every single day for years, and then you'll probably get views.
But how does MrBeast even get inspired?
My well of knowledge needs to constantly be expanding, so I have more things to draw inspiration from our ideas. If not, you're gonna get the same ideas over and over again. So it happens for a lot of creators. That's why their videos are repetitive and always the same thing, because if you're not constantly learning new things, then your ideas are just limited to what's in your head, and eventually you're gonna drain it.
How does MrBeast make his shorts go viral?
What does the brainstorming process look like for shorts versus long form?
I still feel like a lot of people, focus a lot on the idea, but it's like obviously there's no title and thumbnail. For shorts, people are just flipping like this. The thumbnail is the first second, the very first frame and things like that. So it's like shorts. You can just be purely content-based. You just gotta hook them in the first 3 seconds and then just make a banger video. Whereas like, obviously getting someone to watch a 15-minute video is a lot bigger of an investment. You really have to sell them on why you should commit to this 15-minute video. And then, you know, a bad title and thumbnail will just literally kill a long-form video.
I would like to say, the first frame to a short form is as important as the thumbnail to the long form. And too many people overlook it. I wanted you to analyze one of your most recent videos that did really well. Tell us what's going on in the first frame and what decisions did you make to make this happen. Okay, ready?
Can you spot the 5 hidden people behind me? Let's see if random people can.
In front of you is 5 hidden people. You'll have 15 seconds to point out each of them, and if you do, you win 10 grand. Go.
Nobody's here. Oh gosh, there's one person there.
Right there.
2, 3.
There was one laying down the ribs, yep.
4 over there, the toilet paper.
Okay, where's the 5th one?
Down there in the yes.
Oh my gosh, you actually got it. Here's 10 grand. It's a little heavy.
It's not a problem.
Gang, let's head out. Yeah. Well, so obviously for the intro, the problem is if I was just started with her and go, there's 5 hidden people, the viewer wouldn't understand it, which is why I wanted to start it like that so they could get the concept. But if I were to redo it, I was actually just watching it with them, I would leave the shots down the hallway in the grocery store, I'd leave that shot longer so the viewer can play along. It was a little hard, like it was a little too snappy. But yeah, for the most part, like that one, if we just started in the grocery store, it would have been a little weird. So that's why we did the hook at the start, then went to it. This short is actually getting like 1 million views an hour right now. It's doing really well. I was pretty surprised, to be honest.
Wow, that's incredible. Casual.
Sorry, I was just looking at the stuff before I came up here.
What changes were you making to that first frame, like on set or pre-production, to get it where it was?
I was just making sure you couldn't see the 5 people behind me, obviously, because you know if you couldn't, and then they move and you could, you're like, the viewer's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. That's high effort.
Right.
And then now they want to play along and do it again, so their attention's very flat.
Yeah, the interactivity is fascinating.
Well, the first frame on this one is just me, so it's not as good. That's where it could be optimized more.
Interesting. So maybe you would have been more like outside the shot, or like somewhere where you could see a bit more of the background of what's going on.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But it's still doing well, so. Don't have to be perfect every time.
How does MrBeast use A/B testing to make his thumbnails go viral?
I wanted to pull the
ABC testing. I've always heard it called A/B testing.
I know, but I've called it that before.
But I guess because 3 options.
It's more accurate. It's more accurate.
It is. Yeah, I agree.
And I say that for this because I pulled the 2 tests that you did for your recent Protect the Yacht video.
Yeah, I wish it was any video besides the Protect the Yacht video. I hate this video in hindsight. Yeah, I mean, I would say this is one of our worst thumbnails, to be honest, which it's my fault. It's not like the team's fault or anything like that. I'd say the A option you're looking at, like, I'm not in it. I'm in every thumbnail. What was that? Obviously, it didn't win. So we tested those 3 at the top. The middle B one is the one that won, which clearly, I mean, the C one just doesn't really make any sense. Even the B one, I'm not the biggest fan of. We kind of we sketched it out before we filmed the video, and I was like, this is good. But sometimes, which I've learned, when you sketch a thumbnail and then you actually bring the life, and it just doesn't look real. And that's one of the ones that looked good in a sketch, and I was like, yes. And then when we actually made it, I was like, no, frick. And we couldn't figure out another option, so yeah. I mean, yeah, we obviously A/B tested 3 formats, and we found the one that worked, and then we tested a couple of different boats, but you know, I hate that video.
But still, I think that's interesting that it's like big variations are the first test, and when you have a winner, take that variation and make small detail tweaks.
Exactly, and test, and then wait a month and test a couple more and that kind of stuff,
Yeah, I pulled maybe a more relatable example from
Ryan. He's been killing it with these.
Yeah, so he's done big changes with scenery, and then the test 2 are text changes.
Yeah, that one's good. Agreed. I've noticed these as well. I was actually... my girlfriend, when we watched this video, and then it was on our homepage the next day, and she literally said, like, is that what it said before the thumbnail? Because it popped in the top left and said continue watching. So even people notice. I agree. I think this is a realistic way of doing it. 3 options, test some text, and then just leave it be. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overthink it. Because there's a lot of diminishing returns, and there's a point where it makes sense to just start working on your next video if you don't have the resources and a bunch of people helping you. And it's you do have to question okay, well, if I just started putting my brain and effort into the next video, would I get more upside than just this kind of stuff? But yeah, that he did good there.
Yeah.
And finally, what was MrBeast talking about in the voice message?
How do you keep viewers watching and, happy with the video?
I would say just give them why they clicked, tell them why they should watch, and then just stick on topic. Like that right there isn't even super complex, but that would already put you in the upper echelon of YouTube. It's hard for a lot of people. For whatever reason, they just drag it out. A lot of vlog channels do it. It's like eating $100 ice cream, and they'll be like, I'm gonna eat $100 ice cream. But first, and then it's like earlier in the day, and it's just stuff that has nothing to do with what you clicked on. It's like them birthday shopping for their mom, and it's like that's not why I came here.
And if you made it this far, you obviously enjoyed the video, so scroll down, subscribe, and watch this video on the screen right now.